Hi, today for my persuasive speech, I'll be talking about whether or not prisoners should be allowed to vote. Should they be allowed to vote? The president or whoever's in command decides their fate. So today I'll be explaining to you why they should be allowed to vote. First, prisoners are not more or less rational than anyone else who is eligible to vote. People outside of jail make bad decisions all the time, and being in jail doesn't make a person any less smart just because they made a mistake. Next, the people in jail should have a say-so in who's controlling our government and controlling their outcome in life. Whether their vote was for themselves or their family back at home, it's still a basic human right. They were allowed to vote before incarcerated, so why aren't they allowed to vote now? The mistake they made didn't change them completely as a human being. My quotes and info are on my computer here because I don't have a printer. So one quote from the Boston Globe is, in 1958, the Supreme Court ruled that revoking someone's citizenship as punishment for committing a crime is unconstitutional. And they also said, but the best way to re-enfranchise felons or bring them back into the world is to not take away the right to vote in the first place and allow the people to continue voting through their prison sentence. In my opinion, personally, I think they should be able to vote. It will make them feel a little bit more normal. Being in jail is not normal at all. All of your rights are already taken away. You can't see your family. You can't talk to your family whenever you want. You only have a certain amount of time during the day to do the things that you want to do. Voting, I feel, would make them part of our community. They strive to be part of our community every single day. Well, most of them. If they're doing good in the prison and they're proving that they want to be a good citizen, a good part of our community, I feel that they should be able to vote. Finally, voting for our leaders is a big part of being a citizen. In my opinion, it would help them feel a little bit more normal. Just because someone made a mistake, whether it was a big mistake or a small mistake or any mistake for that matter, doesn't mean they're not capable of having a voice. They're stuck in jail. The least our country and the people of our country could do is give them the option to vote for our leader. Britannica Pros and Cons is a website that I found that also talks about whether or not prisoners should be able to vote while serving their sentence. They state prisoners are neither more or less rational than anyone else who is allowed to vote, which I had stated before. They were voting before they were incarcerated. Why can they not vote now? That is my biggest question. If they could vote before they were in jail, why can't they vote while they're in jail? All because of that one mistake that they made that put them in there, that changed their whole perspective on whether or not they can vote on who controls not only their life in prison, but their family's life at home. Political Magazine, along with many others, states, for one, our constitutional ideals support the right of prisoners to vote, and denying it violates the concept of self-government that the founders cherished. Self-government. It's your choice. It is our country's choice. That's why everyone in the country can vote every single term, every single 4 years when we are voting for our new president. They're allowed to vote. The people of our country are allowed to vote. Are the people in prisons not people in our country? Does being in a prison automatically make you a foreigner? It shouldn't. Being in prison is a punishment. And while you're in there, you're supposed to be changing into a role model of our society. Not being able to vote, I feel, makes you feel like you're not part of our society. You're not a citizen in our society. So why should I care about being a citizen in other circumstances? I really do believe that if prisoners were allowed to vote, the prisoner turnaround when they come out would be a lot better. They might want to be part of our society, be a great role model in our society, but instead they're stuck in there feeling like they don't even belong. Only 2 states in our whole country, Maine and Vermont, allow the practice of prisoners to vote. Can you imagine the outcome of prisoner turnaround if every single state were to participate in this? Not only would it change the voting numbers drastically, but it would also give the prisoners, or the ex-felons now, once they're out, the opportunity to feel like they were part of our community from the get-go, from the beginning. The whole entire time they were in there, they had one thing, at least one thing, that made them feel semi-normal. In conclusion, there's many reasons that a prisoner should have the right to vote. So today I mentioned roughly 3 of them. They should have a say in who runs our country. Like I said before, they're neither more or less rational than any person that's voting now. I personally could have done something illegal yesterday and gotten away with it. I'm not saying I did, but I could have, and I'm allowed to vote. So just because I got away with it and they didn't means they're not allowed to. They live in our country. Their families live in our country. Voting, whether or not they made a mistake, should be their right. Thank you.